Greetings, Bowtie5 here. We are concluding my formal wear mini-series redo with a video on the detached collar. So I mentioned the detached collar in my previous video on the intricacies of the white tie ensemble, but I thought it would be fun to dive back into the origins of the detached collar. So to do that, we have to go all the way back to Troy, New York, 1827, to a woman named Hannah Montague. Becoming increasingly frustrated with the daily laundering of her husband's shirts, he required a clean shirt every day, and it was hard to keep the collar and cuffs stiff through regular washing. So she had the idea of detaching the collar and the cuffs. The shirt could be washed separately, and then the cuffs and collar could be laundered in their own special way to maintain that stiff and slick sheen appearance. Now, I didn't quite mention this in the accessories video, but for that really traditional look, you have the stiff cuff as well. My shirt has kind of the opaque placket and matching cuff, but you do have the stiff cuff to go with it as well, and the stiff bib front, which just gives that really just kind of perfect kind of plastic, everything just so kind of appearance. So anyways, Hannah starts to share her little idea with her inner circle, and it becomes pretty popular because she's not the only one who has these laundering issues. And it doesn't take long before a man named Ebenezer Brown, who was a business manufacturer at the time, he comes up to this idea and he finds a way to commercialize it and starts manufacturing collars specifically separate from the shirt and the shirts itself. And this really becomes popular for quite some time before up into the 1900s, even into the 1930s, really around the Depression era, we start getting away from this. And we also, in the early 1900s, we start getting into more economical and easier methods of laundering shirts, where the cuffs and collar can be preserved. We have spray starches and different things like that that kind of ease the process. So it kind of makes the need for the items separated to be necessary and kind of becomes obsolete. Now they still exist, as you can see I'm wearing it here. Any purist who is into that kind of vintage style, they're going to be looking for this. Period pieces, movies, television shows, you have shows like Boardwalk Empire, and Downton Abbey, who kind of bring back this look of the detached collar. So they've kind of had just a tinge of popularity in more recent years because of these stylistic shows. Of course, with men's formal wear, that's probably the only time you're going to see them these days, whereas before you would have it with, even with just like a business suit look, you would have the detached collar. So it was very like a widely thing until kind of the middle of the century. Now I want to discuss a little bit how it's worn and how to care for it. Okay, so I've removed my collar here so we can kind of show a little bit how exactly it goes on. So there's a stud here at the top, and that is what the shirt attaches. That's what the collar attaches to. So you're not going to have like a traditional dress shirt with the buttons. The stud goes all the way up. Now, if you have a shirt with the buttons with an option for the stud, you may be able to get away with doing a button. It's not going to be seen once you have the tie on. but you really want to look for a shirt that requires the studs, because that's the more traditional look. Now you're also going to have a little slit in back where there is a stud as well, and that's to help hold the collar in place, because it's not stitched on like a regular dress shirt. So without attaching it, it's going to slide back and forth on you as you're trying to attach it. So it's good to do that. And what I would do is, you'll see there's the little hole in back. I would normally attach the back of the collar to the back of my shirt before putting the shirt on, because trying to do it once it's already on, not good. But I'm just going to kind of show you. I have an extra stud here, and I'm just going to kind of show you how that works. This end would be attached to the shirt, and then you would just come in here through the hole and just kind of bring that stud in place. I get it through once you get it through one side, then you can just kind of pull on it, push a little bit, and you can pop that other piece in just like that. And to attach it to the front, it's a little trickier because it's stiff and it's tight, so once you try to bring it all the way across, it can get a little cumbersome. But I'm just going to kind of come to the side here so you can see a little bit. I like to cheat and kind of use my thumbnail to help a little bit. So what I do is I take my thumb and kind of get into that hole, just to open that hole up a little bit. And then what I do is I get the stud under my thumbnail, and then I just kind of make a circle all the way around. And then you see you've got your first stud in place. And then we repeat the process with the other side. You bring it around, and then you get your thumb into that hole, and I just kind of make sure that I'm lined up with the stud. And again, I just get under the stud with my thumbnail and come all the way across in a nice little circle. And now you have the attached stud. And the same would apply with if you're doing the wing collar style. What I like about the Imperial, though, it's great for posture. This one's a little higher. It's about 2 inches in height, maybe 2.5. It forces you to kind of hold your head up, because you can't really lean down in it. Plus you risk kind of damaging the collar and getting the wrinkles and creases in it by not keeping your head up a certain way. But that's just to attach it. Now I want to discuss some basic laundering techniques for the collar. Now I'll show you here with the wing one that I'm not wearing. So this is a very it's a luxury item. It's intricate. This isn't something you're just going to run down to your local dry cleaners and say, hey, I need you to launder this for me. That's not going to work. Any process they use to clean this is going to damage the stiffness of the collar. So what I like to do, this isn't traditional for laundering, but it works for me. I have a homemade stain remover that I have shown in a previous video, which is great for like ring around the collar. I'll scrub a little of that on, and any kind of wrinkles to this, I will take my fabric steamer, and what you want to do, you want to find something with a similar circumference to the shirt. I use, sometimes I will use my hat. Now this doesn't go all the way around, of course, but you can pin it on so it holds its shape. And then what I can do is take the wand of my fabric steamer, and I can come here. I have a nice hard flat surface that I can press tightly against this, and I can press anything out. I can also press the wings to make sure they still have their shape. And I'll leave it pinned on the hat until it completely dries and the coloration goes away. That's not foolproof. Now, of course, if you're very particular about the stiffness, I use a spray starch, but if you're really particular about the stiffness, of course you can send those out to be cleaned. There are a few places, you'd have to mail them out, but there are a few places that will launder the collars for you and send them back if you really are particular about how that is taken care of. But yeah, I just wanted to go over the stiff collar itself. I thought it would be fun to dive into the history of it and figure out where it is today, and just kind of show you how to put it on and take care of it. So, Bittersweet, this concludes the formal wear mini-series. I thought it was important to rehash this series with a little better quality audio, a little better quality video, visual, lighting, and bring that to you guys. I do pay attention to my comment section. I've seen over the years critiques over my last series that I did, so I wanted to revamp that. I appreciate you guys bringing it to my attention, and please once again feel free to hit me up in the comments section, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time.